What's up, everybody? Jackson here today with my little brother Chubbs.
Hello, everyone.
Today we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts. Is it 3?
The third one.
It's 3. It's probably like actually in actuality like number 7 or something. There's been so many Kingdom Hearts games, but
Right.
this is a request from a viewer, Draco Schwilward. You got it, buddy. First and foremost, he said, it would be cool if you talk about it in a vid, change it up a bit. So let me explain what's cool, why we're doing this mainly. We're doing this, A, because I've played Kingdom Hearts. I'm interested to see what the next one has going. We're not going to have as much to talk about on this, because typically what we do over here on our channel is me and Chubbs, we play a lot of games together. While we're playing games, we talk about games. And we just come up with things, and it usually revolves around things that interest us. That's why you'll hear us talk about, for instance, Fallout 76. You'll hear us talk about that and Bethesda a lot because, like, we really did have high hopes for that. That's why, even though I said we were done making Destiny videos, it's always a frequent example. It's because these are games that were interesting to us that we saw completely fail in fundamental levels because of greed. And it's from companies that, like, this is, I was talking to my buddy Mario earlier about this when he was here.
Right.
I was saying, it's funny because you think that, like, the more money and the more growth a company has, they reach a point where they're able to deliver. And in some cases, it's true. Like, getting back to the subject of the video today, Kingdom Hearts, I think that this game is going to be worth it for every fan who buys it. Worth the wait, because this has been a long time coming. And I think to anyone who follows the story, played all of the games, I think they're going to get a lot out of this.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that even for people like us who may get it at some point, I think we'll enjoy it just because it looks like it has a lot of variety of gameplay going on in it.
Mm-hmm.
But in some cases, that's the case. But in most cases, what's sad is that these companies slowly get worse. We saw it with Destiny and Bungie. We saw, the bigger the company gets, the more money involved. It's weird. Something happens. It changes the game. I think what it is straight up is an artistic point of view on the level of developer and them having more control over the project. Less of this. It's more making a game for people because it's a game that they wish they could have played.
Right.
It's a game that they wish they could play. It transfers from that into being, they want to make a game that's going to make money.
Oh, yeah.
And that becomes the focus.
Oh, yeah. Because I find it so funny that they're so worried about making money. And, you just make a good product. You know what I mean? This is like movie industry type stuff. Like low-budget movies are making tons of money.
Yeah.
You don't have to pump tons of money into a movie budget for it to make money.
It'll make money regardless, especially if it's a good movie, especially nowadays with the internet, word of mouth, like it's gonna make a lot of money.
Its audience.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
if it's not a good movie, there are some movies that are just famous for being hilariously bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, games too.
Oh, yeah.
And those games made money. Those people made money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a market for it regardless of how good it is, how bad it is. And the best thing about Kingdom Hearts 3 is Kingdom Hearts was originally, in its conception, was just a Final Fantasy game with Disney characters.
That's kind of exactly what it is from what I can remember.
That's what it was.
But it had very cool combat, and I remember the skills and things were really cool.
The combat was cool because it was
leveling
more,
up,
it was kind of turn-based with that same kind of thing.
And you
but
had
it was more
Goofy
action.
and Donald with you.
Yeah.
So like Chubbs, I played the game when I was way younger, and then I borrowed it from Cass.
Yeah.
Cass let me borrow it, and I started the second one, and oh my god, I was lost immediately. I didn't understand anything what was going on. I was like, who's this fucking kid? Is this Sora? And I kind of trailed out of it very fast. I didn't really get into it. There was like skateboarding around a town and like.
And I
was just like, what's going on?
And I remember watching you play this when you first played it, and then I think your system broke. But then I remember.
Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah,
when I played that one way back when.
Yeah, but then I watched you play that introduction again when Cass let you borrow it. And I was immediately lost because it literally starts the kid on a beach and he's just talking to a couple of his friends. And then all of a sudden this freaking void hole opens up and all these dark monsters start pouring out. And it just gets lost from there to now he's jumping to different Disney worlds. Now you're
Dude,
in Wonderland.
I couldn't tell you. And I got all the way to the Beauty and the Beast world on that second playthrough. My first playthrough, it was so long ago that I barely remember it. I remember like certain things. I remember the Tarzan stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff I had remembered. When I was replaying that, I was like, this is the shit. I really like the Tarzan level. I mean, at the time, it hit me when it came out. I can't even remember how old I was. When did this game come out? Can you remember?
I can't remember when this game come out. The only real big thing that I can remember about this game is legit that Mickey Mouse doesn't show up until the very, very last moment of the game, like the very ending. And it's like some cliffhanger, but it's like you don't really know the knowledge of what really happened the entire time. At least I didn't. It's been a long time, and even then, like, I've tried to...
It was in 2002, so I was
2002.
I think
so
I was like...
that was 16
17
years ago? 16 years ago?
Yeah, I think I was 17.
Yeah.
Either way, it's been so long that that's why I can hardly remember it, dude. And I remember that I really liked the combat, though.
Right.
And I remember when I got Crisis Core, when I bought that PSP unit from that Game Crazy.
Yeah.
And I played through Crisis Core. I remember thinking, like, man, this has got a real... that vibe, like Kingdom Hearts vibe. It was more live action combat. It still had like the RPG elements where you select skills.
Right, you still had your like magic and stuff like that.
And so like we watched a trailer before this of the Kingdom Hearts. I think it was the final battle trailer.
Yeah.
This is coming out soon, man. And about the trailer.
Well, half of it is like showcasing the combat and the variety
and that
of
looks
levels,
really cool.
But then the second half is like
it makes
all
no sense.
story.
The trailer has the worst song ever, and I know that that's all the music's gonna be in the game. Because I remember the song in the first one, and I remember particularly being like, "Wow!" and like I felt ashamed, like, that I was playing this game, and then it picked up, and all of a sudden you're meeting Donald and Goofy, and I can't remember what that first place is you go to after your island.
I can't remember either.
I can't remember. But you're meeting them, and you're like, it gets you in, and it's really fun, and it's such an interesting concept, like the blending of Disney with Final Fantasy, and it's so jarring. In a way, it's jarring, but it works. Like when you hear Goofy fucking Sora, it's just like, but you're playing like a fucking Final Fantasy style type game.
You'll like run across
but
famous like, Final Fantasy characters from all the different other games as well. Like you run into Cloud and Sephiroth.
Yeah, dude, and like then
the guy with like the gun blade.
There's Yuna, I think. Not Yuna.
Not Yuna.
What was her name? She was from Euphoria.
Oh yeah,
Yuffie, something like that from 7.
Yeah.
I think the dude from 8's in there, or the girl from 8 is in there. I'm pretty sure someone from 8's in there.
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't know.
When
did Final Fantasy 9 come out? It was before Kingdom Hearts, right?
I can't remember. But
it's been so long.
That's the thing, is it was definitely a mesh of the two, and it's really weird. For example, you'll come across Cloud in the Hercules Olympus event, from what I remember.
Yeah, and you have to fight him.
Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
I think Sephiroth is the final boss of that.
Yeah, dude. It's weird, but it's cool.
It has on top of that, it had like the gummy ship, which was awesome as fuck.
And that's like how you could travel through the dimensions.
You could customize any piece on it, the body, And it was that mini game, dude.
Yeah,
Where it was like Galaga or something.
You gotta like shoot shit out of the sky while you're traveling
around. It's kind of like Star Foxy a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a little miniature Star Fox level. And it's got a lot of interesting things in it. The second half of that trailer, like you said, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
What?
And by the end of it, I was just thinking, okay, so by this time, like in the third one, because I read up like a synopsis and I still couldn't follow it.
I was playing the game, I remember, and I asked Chubbs, I'm like, what the fuck is happening with like all of the shadow shit? What is that stuff?
Yeah.
The Heartless. And he's like, okay, and so he looked up some shit, because it's like all this stuff, I feel like, and this could be entirely my fault of like like blanking out during dialogue and stuff. I tend during games
I feel like
to trail out.
no, I just feel like the first game didn't present enough information. And then they came out with so many different spin-offs and prequels and sequels to help build upon the story. And then
like
the
there
second
was
one
that
came
card
out.
game.
Yeah, and then the second one, didn't even start out as the main character from the first game. You started out as somebody else, but not really, because that was like a heartless version of Sora, which is actually from the first game.
That's who he was?
Something like that, I don't know. And then they gotta like fuse together like Dragon Ball Z or
but he
something.
was so happy and he was riding a skateboard.
I
How
don't
is he
know.
heartless?
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like, it's so confusing.
Like Mickey's at the core.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about this is I hope that they have like some more permanent type companions. I remember the first one thinking wishing I could take the characters that you were allowed to play with. Like you were able to play as Tarzan. Not as him, but have him in your party with you and Sora.
Right.
And like once you were done with the Tarzan level though, that was over.
Yeah.
And like I hope I don't think they will. It looks like they're gonna do that same thing just from what I saw in the trailer. The
like you
characters
have
that
your
they
companions, but when you travel to other
once
worlds,
you go to a different world, it's like only donkey. That's what you get when you combine Daffy and Goofy, apparently. It's not Daffy!
It's not Daffy!
It's fucking Donald!
But they're both ducks, so it works.
I guess I shouldn't have had that nightcap, Chubs. Anyway.
But they're going to add a lot of different variety of levels and worlds. There's I don't care about it, Frozen. For Frozen fans, I let it go a long fucking time ago. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Frozen?
But, oh yeah. I was never on board with that craze, but they added that in there.
I never think I watched it, bro. I think me and you started it. Oh, it was me and Cream. Me and Chris. He's like, dude, my sister says it's so good. And I'm like, my sister says that too. Let's watch it, dude. And so, like, we watched it because me and Chris watched the fucking Twilight movies, dude.
Yeah.
In theaters. So like we're down for experimental films.
If it's
but
good.
But within like an hour of Frozen, I can't even remember. But I remember I was just like, I can't I think it was the snowman, dude. When the snowman showed up, I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. And I was like, do you want to finish it, dude? Because I was willing to commit to it if Chris was fucking okay with watching it. And he was like, nah, dude, it's fine. Let's find something else. Like, fuck this.
This is done. This is over.
So there's gonna be a whole Frozen level, so it's probably gonna be a deep sell for me personally, boys. Sorry.
Luckily, though, as outside of that, there's also like Pirates of the Caribbean level. You get to see
that looks
Jack
sick.
Sparrow and Davy
and those
Jones.
graphics looked legit. It looked like they were trying to go for like realistic, like this is a movie, so it's gonna be like a movie vibe.
Yeah.
It's so that's one thing. Is it's really like it looks super interesting because it is a cool concept, like these multiple dimensions with all the Disney movies being levels and like
and how many
stages.
Oh yeah, and how many Disney movies out nowadays which are like really good like I don't care. I like Pirates of the Caribbean. The first three,
I like them.
I like the first three, and the ones after that are okay, but they're just kind of the same thing over and over and over again.
I liked all the first three. They were entertaining.
Oh yeah.
I could still they're the type of movies. It's like the first Transformers, like the first one, not the second one, nothing past that, but the first one. Like I legitimately can sit down and watch that and be entertained.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's probably personal feelings because there's a lot of problems in those movies.
Oh yeah.
But they're entertaining.
But there's sometimes
the first
it's just
three,
the
first three Pirates, they're just a good time.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, like Monsters Incorporated, that's gonna be level.
Dude, and
that's a
shit.
fucking
that's
awesome
classic
movie.
Pixar, dude.
And then on top of that, after that, there's the Big Hero 6 movie.
Yeah, Big Hero 6, and that was a good movie too.
And that level, it actually goes into the gameplay of that, and it looks like it's gonna switch to like a first-person shooter there for a second.
Well, it looked like they had lots of different types of mini games. And then that attack with the frying pan,
Yeah,
that
dude.
shit was cool. I don't even care. I was into that. I was like,
dude.
that's cool. I was like, it's all epic as fuck. And
Yeah.
all I thought was in a small part of my brain was, that's how you do it, Breath of Wild. Just let Link go spinning around fucking Skrillex music with food flying out of the pan. And then maybe I'll be happy I get 1 extra heart from your enemies that take 5.
And your non-stackable buffs.
And your non-stackable buffs. My little do like little
Do a little dance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm cooking.
It's the food, man. The food like dances in the bowl, and it's just like. Anyway, we trailed into that.
Yeah.
But either way, like I'm just saying.
The combat looks fun.
But
the
seriously,
combat looks very fun.
yeah, the combat, it looks like they're going to switch it up a lot. It kind of looked like Nier Automata to me. And I haven't played that all the way through yet, but just from the demo that I played, I would buy that if they would make it on sale.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to be like Bayonetta and games like that, which I love, but I'm not going to get that much time out of them. Because once I play through them, and I usually start on like a harder setting, so once I get through them once, I feel like I've beaten the game, and like I know there's a huge portion of people that would buy Nier Automata at 60 and definitely get all the fucking, all of their money's worth.
Oh yeah.
Would play through it, dozens and dozens of times. The only one I've ever been able to do that with was the Transformers game. Funnily enough.
Right.
The one that Platinum did that they gave out on Plus.
Yeah, the one
Dude,
that
I played the
looks-
shit out of that game.
The combat system looks a lot like Nier Automata.
Yeah,
where you're
it's
jumping
that
around.
Bayonetta, that style. Yeah,
Oh,
it's just good combat, really fun, tight combat. In that game, they had like you could transform. There was like transform abilities, and it had multiple of the Transformers for you to play. So like, there's Optimus, Bumblebee. Like I can't even remember any beyond that. But they had like the whole cast, and it was more true to like the old school cartoon, less than like the movies.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the movie style Transformers; it was the cartoon
They
style
even
Transformers.
had like the dinosaur transformer from the cartoon.
Yeah, there was some cool shit in that game. Did you play that game?
No, I seen you play it though.
Because I played it for like 5 days straight.
It's
I
good.
couldn't stop. I was like, this game is fun as fuck.
Yeah.
That was a good time. But that's the thing, like Bayonetta, I got Bayonetta and I played through it once, and I can't remember exactly. I think it was one above normal is usually what I'll go for.
Right.
And that one was, it was hard. It was really hard. There was some like encounters and bosses that took me a long time to get, like several deaths before I was able to beat it. So once I beat it, I felt like, yeah, I'm good. That's why I kind of wish. But Nier Automata, back to what we were talking about before, it looks like that's the kind of, it is like, because it took me 13 hours with those deaths to beat Bayonetta.
Oh yeah.
So like with that Nier Automata, I've heard it's similar. I've heard it's a shorter experience, but as you replay it, it extends with new story, new things and twists.
So every time you play it, you
Yeah,
actually
kinda-
get a little bit more out
Because
of it.
from what I understood, especially from the demo I played, was that these are kind of expendable characters because they're androids and like they've been built multiple times.
Oh, okay.
And so like I don't know, I'm assuming that something starts to carry forth in their programming, kind of like genetic memory. I have no idea. I've not watched any spoilers. This is a game I fully intend to get.
Yeah.
But from what I've watched reviews, and I've watched like Jim Sterling talk about this and say like this is how it works. You replay it again and it's different and different and different and different each time. Like, but the thing about Nier Automata is that it looks like this. Like it has those like where it switches to like a 2D shooter.
Yeah.
Or it switches to like a fucking like overhead shooter.
Right, like it swaps to multiple different styles of combat.
game. Yeah, like and it's kind of different genres and play styles and stuff, and it felt really cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And it looks like that's what this is going to be. I don't know how much of that is like little mini games or things like that, but it looks like maybe they're going to mix up combat. That would be cool, like you were saying, like it would be a first-person shooter.
Yeah. And that's what it looked like to me in the teaser. And like on top of that, the outside of that, like the combat between you and your partners to me that looks a lot more like the newest Final Fantasy combat system.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, and which is also a lot like Nier Automata. There's a lot more aerial stuff, but then it's a lot more like Crisis Core, where you have your magic and you can use your items.
Yeah, there's like still that RPG element of skills. And
another thing that I would critique the hell out of for Final Fantasy is in the skill tree is how you unlock characters and how you can swap between them. I think that like you should just have that unlocked.
Yeah, like let you have your party.
Because you have to fucking like get different shit for your party and like equip them with different skills and shit anyway. So like, why are you immediately barred from swapping between your party members until you get these certain little skills that are trapped behind a skill tree,
which just take away from the skills that you could be purchasing for them or your main character?
Exactly. Yeah,
that's a bad. But the thing is about Final Fantasy, the newest one, what is it, 15?
15, I think.
About Final Fantasy 15 is they've always pushed that shit forward. Now, it's definitely gone... With 10, it went different, and then it got weird with Lightning, personal opinion, and I never finished that game, and I haven't played any since then. I didn't play 14, I didn't play 15, I haven't.
Yeah.
And so, like, but the thing about that is you played it, and you said, dude, it's fucking huge.
Oh, yeah.
And the combat's really fun.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You said taking down those big monsters was, like, super fun.
Oh, yeah, because you had to, like, teleport across in the sky and throw your weapon and then teleport towards your weapon and then do, like, a mini combo in the air while you're keeping everybody safe and yourself safe. And you have to also strategically pop your items, and you have to like account for your supers, which are also like combo attacks that you can do with different party members, you know, so like you and one guy who uses the
like
gun,
combo skills.
Yeah, like a combo attack against the enemy, you know what I mean?
Nice. Those are always fun.
And so they added a lot of different variety with the combat. The only thing with Final Fantasy is the story was really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I didn't kill the big giant turtle, which, like, I hear is really fun and really hard to beat and really challenging. And it takes a long time to get to it. And so by the time I'd beaten the story, I was like, I don't know, 30 levels from even getting to that level.
So you kind of had to go back and do side stuff.
And at that point, after I beat the story and found out what the whole shtick was, I was kind of just like, wow, that's kind of dumb. I feel like there should have been more added to it to have me actually give a shit about certain characters that they decided to do certain things with.
Yeah.
That is supposed to feel like an emotional moment, but it's just like you weren't there. Because you're just traveling the countryside with your friends.
Yeah, it's out of nowhere. Well, didn't they, like, make a movie because they were trying to fill in holes in that?
Oh, yeah. And then they even admitted that the story was kind of rushed and they were going to add chapters that would take place from the perspective of the companions on the road trip with you. And I never got to play through those. I don't know how much story was added to them, but it's like... It just felt like chopped up and then this is what you got type of thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So maybe they were doing the movie anyway and they kind of wanted to sync it to the game and kind of have like a third party, you know, something to collect cash kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. But either way, it's a push forward. Would you you say that about the game?
Like... And I would say with how much things there are to do in it, for $60, it's definitely worth the purchase. It was just, for me personally, I couldn't justify like $60 for me. Like I would have waited for it on sale.
Didn't you?
Yeah, I got it for like $20. I think Chris actually picked it up and then me and him played it together.
Yeah, you like swapped Sonys.
Yeah, and so it was $20 for that. It wasn't bad at all. And so, you know, the experience that I got wasn't that bad, and I definitely loved the combat system. The amount
I remember
of
looking at it and saying that runs really good.
Oh yeah, and the amount of
ran really good on the PS4. I remember watching you for a minute. You were fighting that big. You were by yourself though. You were pissed. What was that like at the end? Near the end, like you lost your companions or something.
And then it like strips away certain abilities, and you have just like this one move that you can use, and you have to like break your way into the main base of this enemy encampment. And that's another thing, is that's all tied to like a totally different. It's like it's fucking weird how it ends. And it just like happens.
So it's a Square Enix JRPG, is
and
what
it
you're
just
saying?
it happens. Like there's no moment that would build you up for that. It just, and then all of a sudden,
So like Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm sure is going to be a pushed forward experience from 2.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it's going to combine the best elements of all.
Oh yeah. I'm sure the story will even be a step forward because it looks I know, dude, that trailer, all I'm going to say is I didn't know.
It went to like that monk city and that guy was like, and he said something
and
like,
there's
I'm
like those
supposed to
floating
know
guys with
like,
those masks and the black robes.
Okay, so and here's the thing. If you're a Kingdom Hearts player, let us know down below if that trailer like was legit, like you feel like this is going to connect it and add upon it and like
maybe conclude it.
Because as far as we know, it looks really fun to play like gameplay wise, and I'm sure like the story that will be happening in the moment, kind of like the first game and from what I played at the second game, will be interesting and engaging. Will get you going because like it seems like Pirates of the Caribbean, like we said, would be fun.
Oh yeah.
All these different worlds to go through. Hopefully they have returning ones, you know, like ones that were in the first game.
Yeah.
And so like it'll be awesome to see and have it all come together, and let us know about the story if it will do that, if it'll bring it all together.
Hell, even if you know it, like if you can cohesively detail the plot and tell me what is happening, please do. I will read it and will still struggle, but I will read it a couple times. I'll get it down because I don't understand it at all. And like this is the third game in the series, and I feel like it shouldn't be that way.
All I'm saying
there's
is
so
you're
many
hurting,
different side games.
You're hurting me. Like, for me to get into this and give a shit about the story, you should probably open it with a different song.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna play Skrillex, you're probably not gonna win me over.
Well, they gotta get the kids.
Honest.
They gotta get the kids on board.
I think that everyone's gonna be on board. I think that everyone, like, because I'm not a kid and I played the first Kingdom Hearts when I was a kid.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's their marketing. That's what they think.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, because it's hip, young. It's because that's what it's all about. You gotta make it young. Like, I remember the fucking Kevin Smith praising the Kevin Smith. Kevin. I remember him praising the fucking director of Suicide Squad because it was young. Like, and he just infused young into this. Man. It's like, Kev, how do you know it's young? I think what it is the young. I mean, for real, like, there's movies of mine that were my favorites that I watch now, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching this for?
Yeah.
Like Triple X, dude, perfect example. Or Fast and the Furious, perfect example. Both those movies are fucking awful.
There's just
I'm sorry, I feel bad for saying that because I'm sure someone will be like, fuck you, man, I like those movies.
No, it's some of those movies have such an out there ridiculous plot
I hate them.
that you watch them now and you're just like, this would never fucking
I watched
happen.
the second Xander Cage and I couldn't quit laughing.
You're just like, this would never happen. This would never happen. I'm an extreme sports enthusiast hired by the government to take out terrorist assassins. Yes, that happens all the time.
By Nick fucking Fury, no less.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But it's just like the most ridiculous, over-the-top shit you will ever see. And you're just like, I remember I couldn't stop laughing, dude. I was like, look at this jokes.
We were watching The Return of
And I kept looking over at Chubbs and saying, no one asked for it. But he wasn't gonna listen.
Gave it, dude. They didn't give a fuck. They were
He
like,
wasn't
yes.
gonna listen. That's what I love about it, kinda. I enjoyed it because of that, like, that no one was asking for it.
Yeah.
It had kind of faded into the past. He's just like, fuck that. There's an audience for this. We're bringing Xander Cage back, boys.
Back.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
That fucking but that's
But that's the thing, you know. And so some of these games are the same way, where they're like, have such an out there ridiculous storyline, and then especially with some, I'm not gonna throw it's anime style stories. Throw it out there.
But the thing about
Dragon Ball Z type shit where it's like
think about this. That oftentimes is a problem with translation.
Yes.
Because certain things are culturally significant that aren't language. You can't get across by taking the words and literally transferring them to another language.
But it's like Dragon Ball Z, comparing it to Kingdom Hearts story. Dragon Ball Z, if you missed episodes or entire chunks of season and you hopped in on certain chunks of the story, you'd be fucking lost. You'd be like, so wait, they're giant monkeys? What? So wait, hang on, their hair goes blonde and it makes them powerful?
And you just slowly realize he's a giant monkey of Superman.
And you just wouldn't understand it. But the thing with Kingdom Hearts is because it's translated in video game formula, it feels like there should be more of the story, and instead you're getting Kingdom Hearts, the first game, and then spin-off, sequel, spin-off, prequel, spin-off, and then Kingdom Hearts 2.
Well, that's what happened. There were so many games. There were so many for the DS and like the 3DS, I think.
They've done a lot. And so by the third one, it solidified itself to being like, you have to have paid attention this entire time for any of this to make sense.
Yeah, you're going to be a lost motherfucker if you haven't been paying attention. And then, like you said, you looked up the story in the wiki and you were like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's still...
I don't understand it. Like, there's a Heartless version of Sora and a regular version, and there's cultists, and like...
Yeah, they're like trying to bring about the darkness, which is like what those dark monsters are.
And I can't remember
void
his name.
monsters,
Sora's friend.
Heartless.
Yeah, Sora's friend in the beginning gets like recruited by them, and like there was that
one.
character, and I don't even understand
now
who the
in
fuck
the
that
third
was.
game, it looks like that guy who was his friend is facing off against a Heart version of him. So it's like Heart versus Heartless of them. So it's like Sora versus the second game Heartless version, Sora versus each other. They gotta like come together and fuse and then mend the Heartless to fucking like...
So what would you say our overall thoughts on... It makes my head hurt. I'm changing the subject.
It's confusing as shit.
Yeah, dude. It's I see what you mean about anime, because anime often does like get really weird and take crazy turns.
And they just add more detail and more detail and more detail, and it's
become like this form of media that you have to have like every little piece to in order to enjoy all in the story. That's a really interesting balance that some developers are able to find. Like CDPR with The Witcher 3. I had previously never played The Witcher 1 or The Witcher 2. Witcher 3 was my first Witcher game. I stepped into it knowing nothing about the Witcher universe, and I was fine. Like, I understood everything. The plot was engaging to me.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like everything was super interesting.
It's because there were certain things that needed to be known, but it recapped them in such a way that everything made sense. And it kind of started the story.
And it let people who did know the story, it gave them, like, extra insight.
Yeah.
Without being detrimental to people who didn't know the story.
At all. And the story is also like, okay, well, it's about a witcher. So what does a witcher do? He's, on the hunt. But, okay, well, what if he's looking for a long-lost love? And that's literally where it jumps off. So a witcher looking for work, looking for his long-lost love, and it just goes from there. And it builds the story from that point on, showing you this character, pre-existing characters, as well as recapping the relationship of this person that he's seeking out, as well as all the other characters around him. Yeah. That was very well done.
It was very well done.
And it just followed it from there,
I mean, Red Dead 2 did it, but they did it in a little more They didn't really do it the same way. They did a prequel.
Yeah.
So it'll still have those things for fans of the previous game that will be like, oh, cool, like references, and like there was the stranger that was a character in the first game and things like that Aristotle had found and understood what they were because he had played it.
Right.
But I played through it. I didn't find any of that stuff, and it didn't hurt my experience with it. I felt like I got the full story, but like it's able to enhance a return player, and as well as fucking, give shout outs and like Easter eggs all over the place.
Oh yeah, the people who have played the other games within the series.
So it's like it's a very cool thing, and I don't think Kingdom Hearts did that. And they may have with the second game, but when I played the second game, I didn't understand it. I played one for the DS. It was like a card game.
Yeah.
It might have been the Game Boy Color.
I
can't remember either. It was one of those two. It was
the card game. It was like the same combat system as Kingdom Hearts, but you had cards and they were your attacks as well as your spells and abilities. It was just a card
game. I don't even remember having any combat in it.
Are you sure it wasn't like a
I can't
card
remember.
combat system?
I just remember it being like a card game, and I was super pissed. It might have
like a legit card game,
yeah, like just a card game, like Yu-Gi-Oh style.
Because but that's the thing is that's just one of so many in a line of all these other different games. That's where the story gets lost. Like
because it's in that game, and that game is kind of obscure and is kind of a niche sort of style. So I don't know, will they be able to do that? Let us know below what you guys think. Our overall thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 2 in conclusion to this is Square Enix is a pretty hit more than miss company. As far as we've seen, like the games that I've played and Chubbs have played from them, they've only really gotten better. I mean, you could argue that some games' stories are better, but I could argue that those games' stories have just as much silly things as other games' stories. You know what I mean? And I could say but they've been more hit than miss.
Oh yeah.
The gameplay is always pretty solid and fun. Turn-based things like that. The summoning.
They always try to push things forward.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
yes.
They know like what is gonna be a good game, what is gonna be a good move in the part of the game,
and it's like the shortcomings aside with the final one story, those might all be fixed too through and that's kind of shitty if that's what they did.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's understandable, and you said it was worth playing 100%.
Honestly, the story,
you probably wouldn't have felt cheated if you had been super hyped for that game and bought it day one.
Oh yeah.
And do you feel like you would have felt cheapened by the experience having been like someone in that instance?
Not at all, because I played like 100 hours, and like I said, like the story from the jump is good, and it builds up this really good story, and it's kind of just on the fly. You run across interesting different things, and I was in it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then by the time it got to the end, it just
flipped. It felt like there was gaps.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of gaps missing from the start and the beginning, and especially in the middle, and then the end happened abruptly.
I would not be willing to commit to saying that's a shitty move, but if that's the case where it felt like
it was a good game,
it's kind of a shitty move.
It was a good game.
If you're gonna take away from the main story experience, though,
yeah,
to cut that away and then in turn sell it as DLC. That feels like, I don't know, that's kind of a shitty move. I think DLC should be a cherry on top of the cake rather than supplemental gameplay that fixes story,
Yeah,
So I don't know. But either way, I've heard the reception of that amongst Final Fantasy fans, people who love like the JRPGs, was overwhelmingly positive. It was hard to find negative reviews or negative things who said about anything on that. I only ever heard it was good. I just didn't get it because the last Final Fantasy game I played let me down.
Yeah.
Not Lightning Returns. It was the first one with her.
That one.
I can't remember.
13.
Was it 13? I can't remember if it was 13.
Or was it 11?
Or it wasn't 11.
Was it 12?
It could have been 11.
I don't
fucking remember.
There's so many.
But that was the one with Lightning, the first one with Lightning. It was like this huge production value, these super cool cutscenes, and it just felt like at the end of the day, though, that it was just too much of that, and not enough interesting And I got to the point where it switches to some open world, and I was just like, I'm barely getting to this. And then, I went to the next mission, and it did another elaborate fucking, it was elaborate, dude.
Like, cutscene.
There for a while, hours of gameplay, it was 40, 60 in favor of cutscenes over actual gameplay. A lot of cutscenes and storytelling and building up these characters, and there was a lot of, that really like, I don't understand, but like the super uplifting female singing, you know, like sad lyrics, but to like happy sounding music. Like the fucking trailer
like the
for
Kingdom Hearts
Kingdom
song.
of Hearts.
Yeah.
So like those Kingdom of Hearts, Kingdom of Heartless.
Kingdom of Heartless.
I'm on the Heartless team.
Another one that has that is Dragon's Dogma. Just gonna throw that one out there. I hate that intro song.
Oh yeah, on the menu. Oh
yeah.
my god.
And it's so overzealous.
And it's way over the top because that one they're all like singing in like old speak.
Yeah.
Like biblical shit. Need
like
the open sky.
Opera type shit. Like
I love how there's mods that replace that music with like death metal, the metal from like DMC, and then there's one that switches it to like just like metal music instead of that, and it's like so much more appropriate. Like so much more appropriate to that game. Because that game is like you're jumping on cyclopses and stabbing them in the fucking eye and like slitting dudes' throats and cutting down goblins and like, and it's like, need the open sky.
Yeah, dude. Like some
Shut up, lady.
Fucking
You're just
God.
immediately mashing
And it's
A.
so loud. It's like fucking hell. Right out of the gate, gave me a headache.
Good job, lady. Good job. I'm super into this game now.
Yeah.
I have to admit that Skrillex made the song better. I'm just gonna say it. I would rather listen to dubstep.
But instead, it's the.
I would rather listen to dubstep over the wailing, uplifting music with sad lyrics love song coming from the chick.
But
like, I'd rather.
instead, you get the mesh of both. Because fuck your ear holes.
It's like when you slit your wrist, but it's okay because you broke your ankle at the same time. So, like, you're dying, but at least your wrist doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
That's what it's like when Skrillex comes on. The only Skrillex shit I liked were those songs he did with Korn. When Korn was in their weird dubstep album. And then dude, we're not going to trail on Korn. But that was good Skrillex. And
Follow the Leader was good corn.
I don't even know, because I re-listened to that recently, and some of it is just like...
I hate to say it, but
it doesn't musically, they've always been good, dude. I think like, musically, Korn has always been metal. I'm just speaking more to Corey Taylor.
I mean, their
Jonathan
drummer,
Davis.
Yeah, their drummer was like where a lot of that crazy...
David?
Yeah. A lot of that crazy fucking beats and switch-ups came up.
That was a band that didn't age very well with me.
Yeah.
There's just certain bands like that I would be unwilling to say they're bad, but I would just say they didn't age well with me. Like, I would listen to them. Like, if it was on the radio, I'd be like, good. You know what I mean? Like, this is a good song.
Especially freaking radio around these parts.
But if I was going to, like, listen to something... I don't know. I'd rather listen to like Disturbed's new album or like Godsmack's latest album. You know, like some bands aged well with me, others didn't. I don't know why. I'm really, you know me though.
Oh yeah,
I'm peculiar. Like
speaking of which, I heard the new Godsmack song and it sounds poppy as fuck.
It's poppy as fuck.
It kind of sounds a little like fucking Shinedown-ish.
Are you serious? To be fair, they always kind of had a Shinedown in it.
But I mean,
they were
like,
original.
You're
did
gonna
he oversimplify it? Or did he keep like the complex?
We're gonna listen to it when we go smoke after. Okay. So I'll tell you that.
So our overall thoughts on Kingdom Hearts is, if you're someone who has played all these games, like Cass, perfect example.
Yeah.
I think Cass is gonna love this game. She's our friend. She has played all of them. She loves the story. She's down with all of them. I think Trev, too, is going to really like this stuff. I think that because even if he hasn't played them all, he knows Cass has, and he can just be like, hey, Cass.
Yeah.
You know? What's going on here? So, like, I think Trev, and I think the gameplay looks like something that I would enjoy playing. The gameplay looked very interesting. I'm very interested to see.
Looks like it switches up. It's a little more action-y.
Yeah, I'm very interested in to see where this game goes and what people think of it. It's just not a buy right away for me. It's not something I'm super excited for. I mean, it's like one of those games that I'm like, yeah, I hope it's cool. I'll probably play it someday.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got Dragon Quest XI from Jeff.
Yeah.
Right? And like, that's probably going to be the next, like, RPG that I play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I guess Shadow of War is kind of an RPG, but real RPG is probably going to be...
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not even real. It's a JRPG.
It's like a JRPG, turn-based RPG, yeah.
But it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
I've watched gameplay and shit, and it
Dragon
looks really fun.
It's fucking Dragon Quest,
yeah, we used to play a lot of Dragon Quest with Jeff on the DS.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, guys, so that's what we think about it.
Yeah, that's it. Freaking... Until next time.
Stay awesome, everybody. Stay safe and keep kicking ass.